Welcome to the next edition of The Flame, the hottest news in town. My name is Lisa Van Wyk, and I am here today with Malik Thompson, the Blaze Sports and Fitness and Wisconsin Blaze basketball manager here in Appleton, Wisconsin. How are you today?
I am good. So excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you. Finally, we had a few podcasts already. We focused on speed and agility at Blaze. We had Marissa Hagen talking about that and all that we provide through that service. We had Janie Lang, our VP, talking about volleyball, all the amazing things happening there. And then we had Chris in with Janie last week for fitness.
I love that.
Yeah. And when I asked you to come into the world of Blaze, you probably were like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know what you're getting in.
Did not know what I was getting into today,
Yeah.
but I'm excited. We're talking ball.
Yeah, so now we get to talk basketball. So thank you for being here with us today and catching up on all things basketball with Malik Thompson, Lisa Van Wyk, and we have a number of other coaches we could have brought on. One being Gage Mady, who's focused on our boys' side as a basketball manager, but he could not be with us today, so we'll catch him next time. But you're here to...
Yeah, I'll be here to brag him up today. I'm here to brag him and his teams up today.
Awesome. Yeah, well, let's talk about our team. So we have so much happening on the basketball end of things at Blaze between our trainings, our recruiting, and our teams. Let's talk about our teams a little bit. Give us just an update on how many teams we have this season and how performances are going on both the boys and girls side.
So this year we have 10 boys teams and then 11 girls teams. On the boys side, we have a super duper young 9U team that is rocking it.
Love them. They're so cute.
They're adorable. They love to play ball. They are super gritty. They're super scrappy. And they're coached by Nicole Harkey and Colin Krieger. Nicole also is a official in the area, and she just loves basketball. It's awesome to see them working with the boys and see how much they've progressed this season. Coming in at tryouts, they were so little and so cute, and all of them were just so excited. And they've won quite a few games, and they've been doing very, very well this season so far.
They have great leadership there. With all of our coaches are wonderful, but Nicole and Colin really have they bring this energy, especially at that level.
Right.
There's so much to teach them and get them on the same page. And they're like little chicks running around and trying to just get them all on the same page. It just takes special people for
They
that.
have so much respect for those coaches too. Yeah. They have so much fun, but when it's time to get down to work, they are in their lines, in their places, ready to rock and roll. So it's awesome to see. Super excited to have them in the program. Super excited to see where this team's going to go.
Yeah.
Another one on the boys' side is Gage's team, his 15U Black team. They are currently undefeated in the prep hoop circuit right now. Lots and lots of talent on that team. Not a lot of height on that team, but they really make up for it with just their grit and solid fundamental skills, and they just really chisel away, and they're an awesome team. They're a super fun team to watch, lots of energy, lots of hype. Super excited to see them compete at the finals for PGH for sure. Yeah,
they're quick, they're skilled, and they are really on fire for their team and this game, this sport. They are just fun to watch, and I'm sure nobody expected them to be where they're at right now, but they put in some tremendous work to have gotten to this point to be undefeated in the prep hoop circuit.
Absolutely. I mean, Gage has put in so much work just even outside of the season, working one-on-one with his athletes, just getting them in the right mindset, making sure they're in the gym lifting, making sure they're working on their skill set. He's put so much work into that team. I feel like that team's like his heart and soul, and it just really shows how much hard work really pays off in the end, because they're having a phenomenal season, and I only expect it to keep going from there.
Yeah.
I feel like that whole team honestly has a lot of potential to see a lot of college recruits looking at them and just kind of moving forward, especially going into next season, into their varsity high school seasons. I feel like we're just going to see their names popping up out of everywhere.
I'm pretty enthralled with the guys this year, and we've got couple high school teams in one actually out of Wausau Coach Rob Love, giving some love to the boys out there in Wausau, and really providing some high-level, excellent coaching, and traveling around the state and competing well. And they took a tournament, went first down in the Dells, and yeah, they've been competing well. And then we've got Brett at the helm at the 17U level, and they're battling to do their best with that mix. It's a mixed age group of 16s and 17s on that team. So, yeah, so we actually have a great outlook for our boys. We're proud. It's taken a number of years to build to get to this point, and it's only going forward from here. It's a very competitive industry on that boys side. There's so many players playing. There's so many clubs, so many teams. So it's a competitive to just pull the right guys together who really are passionate and consistent and put the time in.
Absolutely.
So it's great to see it happen after 7 years.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
Yeah. Never give up.
I see only good things coming on the boys' side for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, especially with our coaching staff.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the coaching staff just for a few seconds here. So talk to us about there's some new blood in coaches that came in this season. One of the things that we wanted to focus on was why Blaze? Why Blaze basketball? Why Blaze anything? And there's a lot of consistent themes that resonate in who we are and what we do. And one is people. The people that we bring into the fold. We interview, we hold to high standards, we help train, we coach, not only our athletes, but our staff and our coaches as well. So tell me a little bit about, on the guys' side, just some names that stand out.
Like I already mentioned, Nicole Harkey and then Colin Krieger taking over the 9U boys. And then moving up to 12-13U, we have a 12-13U mixed team. That one's coached by Tyreek Curtin. He's also a pro player for the Milwaukee Kings through our WBL.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we want to do is use our pro league and staff of athletes to help give back to the community and have them come on our coaching staff to give back to the youth athletes and train them and teach them, because they've been on that journey and they can really show them teach them a lot of high level ball and really love on them.
Right. I've gotten nothing but awesome feedback, honestly, from those parents about Tyreek too. Those kids just have so much fun with him. Tyreek's a very goofy type of guy, but he likes to get down to business. But I think the boys like his little mix of being goofy, being serious, and then also the fact that he's still a player himself. I think they really look up to him. He's a relatable type of coach that they have. And then moving up to our 15U red team, we brought in Jason Price. He's also the JV coach over at Kimberly. So bringing in, he also played on the UW Oshkosh National Championship team. So bringing him in, Jason has such a high IQ of the game. When I sat down and interviewed him, like the first time we had a real conversation, I was honestly just amazed at how much he knew and how humble he was about it. He's not a guy that when you talk to him, you think he's cocky or anything like that, because he's not. He just keeps it all in. But then when you really get him talking, you're like, holy cow. I flat out said, I'm like, if I ever go anywhere or whatever I'm doing, I'm like, you are always welcome to come with me, because you have such a high IQ, and he's just a great coach all around.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Absolutely.
He's an awesome developmental coach as well. We kind of just talked about like his past with basketball and stuff, and just how hard he had to work to be the player that he was. And he said that he really just worked hard at the IQ piece and really knowing the game, so that when he got in the game, he knew what he was doing and he knew where he was going out there, so that he could perform his role to the best of his ability. Which that statement right there, I was like, okay, you need to coach for us, please. Like,
you know it. I love it. Yeah, and that's great, because we bring in coaches who are experienced, not only players but also high school coaches, or even professional coaches like Brett Witchow has done now under the Kings and WBL, but that just instills this extra element of grace. In addition to truth, like, yes, there are things that we want to teach them, but they also understand the struggle of what it takes to get from A to B. And you can't go from A to C without going through B.
Exactly.
And they have this level of patience and understanding and helping our athletes get to where they want to go because they've had to go through that grind themselves.
Exactly. And I think it's so much easier and just so much more relatable for players to, like, they know, okay, here's the beginning, here's the end, but for a coach to be able to piece those little things together and show them that actual path of this is where you got to go, or these are the different paths you can take, these are your opportunities, just somebody to relate to, which is awesome. But love having him. I know he's having a ton of fun with that team. That team has improved so much this season. I see it out on the floor. I see it in games. He's done a really, really good job with that team this season.
Yeah, and that's actually a great point, is the progress. We really focus on, hey, everybody's like looking at wins and losses all the time, but there's a lot that happens. We have a lot of victories that may not be seen on the board, and it's the progress and the process that we push them through and the progress that they make from day one to the end of the season that really shows you why being part of the Blaze is important, because this is not a quick, easy journey. It's basketball, any sport that you want to play at a high level, it's a long journey.
Absolutely.
And so when you make those steps forward, hey, those are victories, and that leads you to the next. And then you never know when an athlete's ready to just explode onto the scene, and all of a sudden it's like it's clicking for them because we never gave up on them.
Right, absolutely. I mean, and when you're looking at like measuring the success of, like, let's say even just the boys program, you can't measure it in wins and losses. I don't think I just don't even think that's a great way to measure success in the first place. It takes a long time to build an entire program, and if you want your whole program to be solid, like, you have to put that grind work in, and Rome wasn't built in a day.
No, it wasn't.
Blaze was not built in a day, and this program can't be built in a day either. We're making awesome progress towards it, and everything looks great. The coaches are doing a great job. Athletes are working super duper hard, and I think we're just going to see a huge payoff in the long run.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lots of good things coming on the boys' side.
I love it.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the girls' side. Yeah. What do we know about what's happening on the girls' side?
Well, we have 11 teams. We have multiple teams at multiple age groups, which is crazy. Honestly, this whole season, when we were going through tryouts, once we hit January tryouts, I was like, how do we have this many kids like sitting on our lists right now?
And we always have tryouts, because every year it's another reason why Blaze is great, because we hold to a high standard, and we don't just throw kids on teams. This is not about making money. This is about each individual athlete and really taking the time to figure out what is going to help them be successful. And we take the time at tryouts to say, yes, does this make sense? No, it doesn't. And we have cuts. But this year was like, there was just so much potential that we saw on the court. We just, our numbers were crazy, and we ended up going from 1 to 2 teams at the 4th, 5th grade level, and then from 1 7th grade team to 3 7th grade teams in the girls' side. So yeah, that just shows the excitement for girls basketball in the community, and also really what parents are doing too at home, just to help them support their girls in the game.
Absolutely. Honestly, like, having those huge numbers, like, I'm a ball player at heart, but seeing just like the advancement in the technology of women's basketball, seeing the skill that's progressing, like, girls can battle with guys now, and some of the moves some of these girls are doing, you go to tournaments, like when we were at Prep Hoop Circuit, you go to USJN, there are girls out there that could take some guys out. So just knowing that those girls are out there wanting to compete, and they're coming to us at such a young age, and like, you don't know how tall they're going to get or how big they're going to get, but the fact that they're coming at you at such a young age, and you get to work with that, and you get to watch them evolve and grow and get better, is crazy to me. So I'm super excited for our program. I love it.
Let's talk about a couple teams now on our girls' side that are doing well, are making a name for themselves. What a couple teams that stick out?
Well, we can start with the 12U.
Yeah, that's because it's Malik's team.
That's my team.
Yeah.
Big shout out to my girls. Yeah, we just won a tournament last weekend. They
Woohoo!
were very, very excited. I have quite a few girls on that team. Every single one of them is a die-hard basketball fan. I was just talking to a parent the other day, and I said, I don't think I've ever had a group of kids that I've coached that have all been so just passionate about the game and have so much drive. This last weekend, I just saw them. They were resilient on defense. Even if they ran through a pass trying to steal it, they would come back and try and get that back tip. Everything we did was super scrappy, super gritty, which I've been harping on that for probably the last 4 practices in a row. So it's nice to see all of that defensive work paying off.
Oh boy. I may have texted you about this already. I'm harping on your team on defense. I'm like, that's what I need to do with my team this week. Because we're just, sometimes I feel like it's a middle school train ride. Sometimes you do really strong and then you might dip and do things that you shouldn't be doing after you just did them well. And it says that discipline. We talk a lot about discipline at the middle school level.
Right.
About, hey, you know what you need to do now. You need to do it consistently because it's like life, anything, whether it's a college coach looking at you, they want to know they can be able to trust you, that you're going to be who you say you're going to be. You're going to be it consistently day in and day out. But it's like being a mom or a dad, that you're going to be there all the time, or with your job, that word consistency. And so that's great to hear that your girls really hit it on defense because
no, consistency, that's a huge, that's a word I use all the time. And I think that discipline and that structure starting at a young age just creates that consistency in the long run. My girls they work super duper hard. They're super goofy, super giddy. I love them dearly.
perfect fit for you.
Right. But then when it's time to go to work, they go to work. And I greatly appreciate that and appreciate their work ethic. I'm super lucky to have a group of girls that is just has such a strong work ethic and just loves playing basketball. If I told them that we could have practice 7 days a week, they'd be like, okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Yes, they would be in the gym every day.
Absolutely. But they're doing really, really well. Seeing their progress this season has been awesome. We weren't winning a ton at the beginning of the season, and then we kind of really put some grind work in these last couple of weeks while we had off. And then this next tournament we came into, we just looked great, and I loved it. But then moving up to your black team.
I love my black team. And we have 3 girls teams at the 7th grade level, and they all work so hard, and they have such great attitudes, and they too are so passionate. I think that's why we ended up with these numbers, crazy, and it is a huge blessing. But they're battling day in and day out. That red and white team, they're continuing to progress forward every single day, and then on our black team, those girls, but they're starting to realize their responsibility, and each of them has to bring something to the table. And then, like I said, they have to be disciplined and consistent with it. And so when they get challenged on the court against, say, we killed it our first game, but then we got challenged in our second and third games a little bit, and it's like, are you going to do it again?
Right.
Are you going to communicate? Because we talk a lot about communicating. We work on communicating on defense, and then when you don't, and you're playing a tough team, everything starts to break down.
Right.
And so we have to be on them. Again, it's about being disciplined. And so, so our weekend was a little rough. They work hard, and again, it's like that little bit of a train ride, and we just got to straighten it out a little bit for them at that 7th grade level. But I find that happens a lot at that middle school level.
I was just going to say, that's a
with
tough age to really find your roles and responsibilities and things, especially on the court. Like, what is my role? What do I do? What do I bring to the team? Right. No, I totally.
And being okay with being you and not feeling like you have to do it all.
Yes, not comparing yourself to other people out there, being able to transfer that energy from game to game to game, especially when you're playing 3 back-to-backs in a day. I talk about that a ton with my older ones of we have to carry that energy over into the next game because we have games where we look phenomenal, and then all of a sudden we show up and we're like, and it's like, where's that energy that was just there 30 minutes ago? Just being able to take the accountability, that responsibility, and play your role, do what you have to do.
And then we have 2 8th grade teams.
2 8th grade teams,
Yeah.
14U red and black. Both of those teams are doing very well as well. We just recently had some injuries to that black team, quite a few injuries
even
to
wanna
that black team.
Talk about it.
It made me very sad.
Yeah.
Honestly, that black team though was looking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sad to see some of those athletes get hurt, but I think they can rest up a little bit. Hopefully, finish this season strong. Both of those are coached by Allie Gwitt, and she's done an awesome job of splitting her time this season between those teams and making sure that not only are they unified like each team, but as just a whole 14U group.
Yeah.
She's doing an awesome job with those girls, and I see so much improvement with them literally every single time I see them in the gym. I'm like, oh, that's a new move. Oh, that shot's looking better.
Yeah.
But she really puts a lot of work into those kids, and gives them, that's a coach that has a lot of structure, a lot of discipline. I admire her for that so much.
Absolutely.
She's a coach that like they hear her voice and they're like what's she gonna say next?
Yeah.
But I love it because they put so much work in, and that's just kind of how she presents it is, hey, we're here to work, and that's what we're gonna do, and those girls are like all on board.
And really, that's the 8th and 9th grader, the time where they're starting to decide what they want. What are they passionate about?
Right.
And so having that coach who can give them that balance of, hey, we're here to work, but still be that person who they feel like they can go to, have a little bit of fun with, but then structure that, no, we have to be,
Exactly.
we have to do this now if you want to get to the point that you want to get to.
And Allie being a varsity high school coach, I think also helps her with this 14U group because they're entering into high school. So not only is she working on still some lockdown fundamental skill set stuff, she's prepping them to go to their high schools and play this next season. I honestly couldn't think of a better person to have in that spot to transition them. And they respect her so much, and they just have so much love for her that they just trust her. And I think that's a perfect person to have them transitioning into high school.
Yeah, it's a blessing with the coaches that we have this year in the spots. It's been probably 3 years now. I feel that we have had this consistency among coaches on the female side that has really even more elevated the game for all the girls and all the teams. And then we get into high school where, again, some of our coaches will coach 2 teams, and one being you and me and some other people. But yeah, so talk a little bit about your 15s.
My 15s, that is, I know I said my 12-year-old group, I have never coached a group like that. I've never coached a group like my 15s either because they are so tight-knit and close. The chemistry on our team is insane. I think they love each other more than anything else in the entire world, which is awesome. I have a bunch of really, really hard workers. I have a lot of multi-sport athletes on my team. So I just have a team of athletic kids that can do a lot of different things. We really have been focusing on just a lot of fundamental skill set stuff. We're not an offensive team, so I really try and lock them down on defense for the most part. I don't have necessarily a lights out 3-point shooter, and I don't have anybody that's even near 6 foot tall. So we can't really rely on an offensive game. We have to rely on that defense. Just hardcore lockdown man-to-man defense. A couple different zones that we run, couple different presses that we run through and stuff. I have a super duper hardworking group of kids and they just have hearts of gold, literally hearts of gold. They're super fun to travel with. Recently, we just went 2-2 in Iowa, which was awesome. We were able to compete with everybody there, and the 2 games that we ended up losing were super close, which ultimately we would have loved to go 4-0, but we put so much work in that weekend, and seeing the progress that we had while we were in Iowa at the PGH circuit was insane. It was a leap and a jump from where we were a couple weeks in the past. And that's what I love about that team is every single week I see them getting so much better. And just even their confidence with some things. I had one girl, it was like a jab step to the left, hard rip right, and then just powered through to the hoop. And I was like, you've never had the confidence to do that. Yep. And so seeing her do it, and she got all so upset because she didn't make the shot. And I was like,
Oh,
I'm like, you
step
did
forward.
it. I'm like,
Yeah.
you did it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that. I don't care if you missed that shot.
Yeah,
I'm like, you
the
did it.
next
Do it
time
again.
it will go in.
Do
Yep.
it again.
Yep.
And that's what I tell them too. I harp so hard on consistency with my kids because like we said before, we'll play great one game and then the next game it's like a little bit of a roller coaster. But in Iowa, I finally saw that consistency. One of my parents likes to say I had them firing on all cylinders. But they just had so much consistency that weekend, and I've been telling them too, we will score. Like, we're gonna score. We can be more of an offensive team, but we got to get those shots up. Right. And the only way for those shots to go in is for us to consistently keep taking those shots, keep taking those drives, keep doing those things
under pressure, live situations.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
But
yeah. So then we have two more. We have Naz and Kayla at our 17U Black team.
Yes.
Yep. And they're competing and they're working through a lot of things on their team. And again, I feel like this word of consistency, and this is also what I bring to the Inferno level, is that discipline. Because when you know what you should be doing, you know what the right choices are. Now you got to make the right choice in the moment. In that, because against pressure, you have a split second to make a decision. And as you get to this higher level, you got to have that strong, confident skill set in yourself, but also in your team too, because a lot of trust needs to happen. You got to be patient. Sometimes we don't get everything we want right away. And so those are some things that I'm seeing both on that 17U Black and Inferno. Inferno, we have just...
You have a lot of talent on that team.
And I don't think they realize how good they really are. They really are. I want to say this is probably the best kickoff to our season we've ever had, and we've had some tremendous teams in the past. Girls, kids going off to D1, D2, D3, NAIA level, high competitive collegiate players, and these girls are even a step above that. It's crazy how competitive they are. They play with so much grit and fire and energy, and I just love it because they too are so passionate. And this team, what I really like about this team, because I'm big on this, is communication. We have a couple who just spark it, and they are nonstop, and it just infuses and gets through the rest of the team, and it raises the energy. It helps them stay focused. They have to be able to communicate on both ends of the court, whether you're offensive or defensive transition. Right. And there are some things that they need to work on as a team still. But for them to be fifth right now in the prep girls hoop circuit in the region is phenomenal, because this area in the Midwest has tremendous female ballers.
Absolutely.
And for them to be on top right now going into the regionals this weekend, actually, first time we're going to a tournament over Memorial Weekend, but they want to, so I can't say no.
They wanted to compete.
They want to compete, yeah. So we'll see how that turns out this weekend, but we have some great players and coaches who are already reaching out on a number of them at all levels, D1, D2, D3, already talking to them, which is really cool. We just love it. We're very blessed. But in our conversation, it just shows you why Blaze basketball, why Blaze, and it's because of the people that are leaders here in our organization. It's about the passion we have for not only our sport and our fitness, but the athletes themselves and the families. I mean, we are here day in and day out, night in, night out. And the weekends, because we love you and your families, we love your kids, and we want nothing more than to see them succeed. And sometimes it's having hard conversations that they may not want to hear, or you might not want to hear, but they're ones that we know need to be had in order for them to get what they're looking for in life at that next level.
And that's the thing, is like our motto is we're training champions for life. We're not just here to produce ball players. As much as we love ball, that's not our main goal here. We want to give you those opportunities, obviously, to play ball at the next level, but I always say, and I even say it in our parent meetings too, if the only thing I ever taught you to do, or the only thing you can say I taught you to do as a coach was to dribble better, or I fixed your shot, I didn't do my job as a coach. You know what I mean? We want everything that we do to set them up for success in the future, whether that's the discipline and practice, the structure, learning how to effectively communicate with people, being able to, one, advocate for yourself, advocate for others, have those difficult conversations that you need to have, because because ultimately mom and dad aren't always going to be here when you get older. You need to be able to do some of that stuff yourself. And if we can teach you it now and help you through it, work through it with you, help you progress, like take those steps, that's what we're meant here to do. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely, yes, because we care about their future.
Absolutely.
Training champions for life. And with that, and we'll close with this. We talked a lot about the teams, but there's so much more going on. We have the Hardwood Hustle coming up in a couple weeks, June 4th through the 6th. College coaches, you got invites. Make sure you show up. We want you there because there's a lot of talent from the state and even Minnesota and Michigan that are coming in, Illinois, to compete at the Hardwood Hustle at Champion Center in Appleton, Wisconsin, June 4th through the 6th for both boys and girls. We have actually 160 teams between our 9U through our juniors. So, it's going to be crazy, but we also have...
It's going to be a busy weekend.
Yeah, we live for this. We live for it. And so we also have coming up this summer, we have training for basketball at all levels. And we also have our open hoops that you can rent the court, your half court, so that you can get your shots up, work on the skill sets that you need to before AAU season's over and also before basketball season starts up at your school's next season. And then we go into doing it all over again. But you can find everything you need. Look for our summer schedule. Should be coming out this week at blaze365.com/basketball. blaze365.com/basketball. If you want to reach out to us, you can always email team@blaze365.com and know that you will receive some love and care and focused attention on the other side of that.
Right.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from everyone.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say on the basketball end of things?
Oh, goodness. It's been an awesome season on both sides of the program, boys and girls, and up in Wausau with Rob Love. Love having a satellite team. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see where we're going to end up this season. And I know with how crazy numbers were with tryouts this past season that this fall is going to be absolutely insane. And I think we're in for some really, really big things. So if anybody's interested, come check out Blaze. We got a lot to offer.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Malik, for being here today.
Thanks so much for having me. It's fun.
Absolutely. I'll have to have you back.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone, and have a great day.